That's short, right?
Construction Trades Council from 2011 to 2013. Before serving as mayor, he was a state representative for one of the most diverse districts in Massachusetts. He focused on creating jobs, protecting workers' rights, expanding mental health treatment, and investing in public transit. As always, he's happy to take a couple questions. I'll be the bad cop, but with that, we'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Sharon.
Thank you very much, Jen, and it's an honor to be here today. I want to also thank President Biden and Vice President Harris for inviting me to share an update on the economic recovery at this important moment in time. The news today, under the President's leadership through the American Rescue Plan, America's workforce is climbing out of a deep hole that COVID has put us in. Our recovery is building momentum, and many more Americans are certainly returning to work, as we can see. But we still have a long way to go, and there's a lot of work to do. Today's Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that the American economy added 916,000 jobs in the month of March. The unemployment rate edged down to 6% from 6.2% in February. That's certainly good news for over 900,000 working men and women and families in this country. We saw significant job growth in most sectors of our economy, and it's clear that the national vaccine program is not only saving lives, but it's enabling more people to get back to work. Relief checks and expanded unemployment benefits are not only putting food on the table, they're also stimulating our local economy. The supports that are being put in place for rent, mortgages, child care, schools, small businesses, and emergency paid leave are giving workers the security they need to hold on and start planning for a better future. The American Rescue Plan certainly has had positive effects across our economy, laying down the foundation for continued recovery. At the same time, over 8 million jobs that existed a year ago today are yet to return. Millions of people in this country are still hurting, and disparities within the workforce continues to be a major concern. The African American unemployment rate in March was 9.6%. The Hispanic rate was 7.9%, compared to the 5.4% for whites. In addition, barriers to the labor force participation for women continue to be a problem that has been exposed and exacerbated during this pandemic. We must continue to address the fact that working people and communities already suffering the most from inequality were hit the hardest during the COVID illness and job loss. That's why American Jobs Plan proposed by the President Biden this week is so vital to our future. It tackles each of these issues head-on with bold action. The plan offers a necessary path forward towards sustainable economic growth that is robust, competitive, and inclusive. As a former mayor, as Jen mentioned, as a former mayor, I know all about infrastructure needs. This plan would move us into the 21st century and to the forefront of the world in transportation, in clean energy, in high-speed internet, and would create millions of good jobs all across the United States. A report issued by Georgetown University's Center on Education and Workforce found that the American Job Plan would create over 8 million jobs for people with just a high school diploma alone. It would increase the share of infrastructure jobs from 11% to 14% of the jobs in this country, reviving the blue-collar, middle-class economy and all across our country. As Labor Secretary, I'm thrilled by the investment it would make for American workers in their skills, in their opportunities, and in their right to organize and advocate for better paying working conditions and jobs. Those investments will create and open up access to good manufacturing and construction jobs. There's also a major investment in our caring professionals, an industry where 1 in 6 workers who are disproportionately women of color live in poverty. We've seen how much our families depend on child care and seniors' care over the last year. Those skilled, compassionate workers need and deserve a better deal. The American Jobs Plan would also double the number of registered apprenticeships to over 1 million, while ensuring these programs reach those who have been left out in the past. I've personally seen the benefits of union apprenticeships up close. As mayor, I launched an apprentice program as mayor and as a labor leader. I've seen them change lives of women and people of color in low-income communities in the city of Boston. For those reasons and many others, this plan that is the fuel to a true engine of our economy. The working people certainly will run off that. It's not only the numbers that tell the story of the economy. This is about the conversations Americans are having at kitchen tables all across our country. Over the last 2 weeks, I've talked to parents, I've talked to child care providers, I've talked to small business owners, members of the labor unions, frontline public employees and federal and local employees, mayors all across America, cities both large and small. I've talked to senators, I've talked to a couple of governors. They continue to be concerned about the situation and what they're seeing in their communities. But everyone seems to be optimistic and hopeful. They all see a pathway forward. Today's data shows while jobs are coming back, unemployment remains a necessary lifeline for too many people, for millions of Americans. But a new opportunity, a good job, providing for your family, building up your community, those are the things that will allow us to dream again. And that's exactly what we're working for in this administration and all across America. With that, I'll take some questions.
All right, Andrea. Secretary Walsh, we've got some factory owners in the Midwest telling us that they're really struggling to get people to take their jobs. So if we're going to add 19 million jobs, where are the people who take those jobs going to come from? And how do you need to do extra training?
Well, first of all, in this bill, there is job training money and there's workforce development money. And I think the biggest thing that what I've heard, a lot of workers are concerned about is COVID-19. People are still afraid of the impacts of COVID-19, still too many deaths, too much loss of life. And I think that I know that the President's plan is a competent plan, a vaccine plan to get more and more shots out. And the President, I think, doubled down on his efforts the other day about the vaccine. He reaches his vaccine goal of 100 million vaccine shots, and now he's shooting towards the 200 million. That's going to make a difference. And I think what we've seen a little bit in some of the economy today, the numbers, is people feeling comfortable coming back into the workforce. People need to feel safe. The President stressed today, wear a mask, wash your hands with soap and warm water, physical distance, be careful, stay separate. All of those things are still very much you have to do, any state, any city in this country.
But there is a I mean, there are gaps in even now, even, sort of, even before COVID, there were gaps between what was available in terms of jobs and people who were willing to take them for, sort of manufacturing positions and things like that.
I mean, I think that the numbers right now, when you look at the numbers, we still have I think it's 8.4 million people out of work. And there's another nearly 2 million people that are not in the workforce. Again, I think it comes down to safety. I think it comes down to fear. Even within the Department of Labor,